Hello, good evening. How are you all this evening? I am so excited to be living with you tonight. Of course, am here. That's the only reason why I jump on live is to talk about the Epic Women's Conference. And we are doing quite a few things right now and preparing for all of these dynamic women who are coming on September 29th. Have I told you guys how excited I am about it? I am so excited because God has done so many amazing things through this conference already. I really believe in the power of prayer. And last week, myself and many of our conference crew members and speakers, etc., all jumped on conference call so that we can cover this conference in prayer, because we really trust and believe that God is going to be in the midst of all of this, and that women will have the opportunity to come and have a holistic expression of who they are as individuals, which I'm extremely excited about. So as I've told you guys before, the Epic Women's Conference is a conference for the whole woman. Meaning that a woman can come there and take advantage of workshops in spirituality, workshops in professional development, and in lifestyle. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today with regarding lifestyle that I feel like is not really addressed enough is this highlight reel. And I really want to address this in some way, shape, or form at the conference. During my talk, I will be doing a keynote. I'm scared, y'all. I'm not scared. I trust the Lord. I speak all over the place. I've spoken 100,000 times. I've been doing oratorical types of activities since the 4th grade. However, I really truly believe that what is going to happen there at the Epic Women's Conference is that women will begin to give birth. And so it's something very different in speaking in a platform where, somebody just, they pay you, they fly you in, they bring you in to do a talk, and it's a particular content around whatever. I talk about a lot of different things. But it's a whole nother thing to be the visionary and give birth to a thing. And it's a whole nother level of responsibility that has really scared me. So at the same time as we're inviting women to come to this conference and learn a little bit about who they are and engage themselves in a way that maybe they have not allowed themselves to be expressed, I'm doing that myself. So we're all giving birth together, all at the same time. And so it's exciting. But one of the things that I feel like just is really burning in my belly is this thought about the highlight reel. Because I have people all the time who call me or Facebook me or inbox me or whatever. Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Dillette. And they say things like, oh my God, your life is perfect. First of all, I don't think any such life exists. And so what I want to say to every single woman who's listening to me right now, all 4 of y'all, what I want to say to every single woman who is listening right now or who will listen to this at some point is don't fall for the highlight reel. Now, that's not to say that I'm not transparent and I'm not being real about who I am as an individual on Facebook or any other manner. I think anybody who knows me know that I am as transparent as they come, that I am not afraid to have hard conversations, and that I really expose who I am as an individual for the purpose of other people growing. And I really feel like that's what life is all about. Cynthia is on this live right now listening, so she can attest that I am a true individual, real as they come. So even if you see things about me on Facebook that I post about my marriage or about my children or about my job, my career, or whatever have you, that is all true. I don't have the need to sort of express myself in a way that's not true and authentic to who I am. But I want you to know that every picture that I put up, I look at it first to make sure that I'm looking good. I'm looking all right tonight, but whatever. My point in sharing this is that too many people fall for the highlight reel. Too many people are looking at, we hear that saying, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. It's worse today. It's no longer just the Joneses down the street that women are comparing themselves to. You will look at somebody else's husband and say to your husband, why are you not like so-and-so down the street? Hey, Jonathan. And, I just want to caution people against those kinds of things. I want to caution you against falling for the highlight reel and looking at what you see on the exterior and really expecting that to be who that person is all the time, 100% of the time. And so, as I mentioned, I am as authentic as they come. So I'm not faking it until I make it. But at the same time, I don't want anybody to sort of look at where I am and see the glory, but don't know the story. And so I have the opportunity, I have a platform on September 29th during the Epic Women's Conference to really, truly just be honest. Hey, Jamie, truly be honest about what it means to be a woman, a multi-dimensional woman, okay? So there are times when I am exhausted, I am tired, and people get to see the outer core, the exterior, the hardness of me, mostly because we are not, as women, allowed to be vulnerable. Why is that? Why is it that, and this is not in support of any political candidate whatsoever, and trust me, try to stay away from the politics. But why is it that someone like a Hillary Clinton, when running for a position, can be bad-mouthed, just put to shame because she shows any sign of emotion? And yet a man who shows some signs of emotion is just a vulnerable man. And good for him. Way to go. Pat on the back, my brother. And yet we as women have to be strong all the time. My position, I'm an executive director, so I'm top level position in my organization. And for the last, 15 years of my career, I've always been the person on top. And what I try to do with my team, I don't expect that people who work for me, work with me, which I really consider to be my colleagues, actually. I don't really consider them to just be there to do a job. I feel that it is my responsibility to pour every single thing that I have into them to ensure that they are the best people that they can be and that they are fulfilling their purpose while on this earth, and that they are giving birth to whatever God created them to do. So never, ever do I want to be in relationship with people and my job with you is just to make sure that I'm checking off the list and you're doing whatever task. And so I want to talk about these kinds of things at the Epic Women's Conference. We have as individual women, we have a responsibility to give birth to the vision that God has given to us. But I also think that we have a responsibility to be the midwives to help other women give birth as well. And it's so very important that we as women stand with each other. And so at this conference, you will really get the chance to just come and be and relax. And I want to reiterate that this conference is for women of all shapes, sizes, every race, every ethnicity, every age. It doesn't matter if you like country and I like rock and roll, which I really don't, y'all. But none of that matters. We are coming to stand united at this conference as women of all different backgrounds who are experiencing life at the same period in time right now. And you can do that on September 29th. And if you want to register, if you haven't already registered, you can go to LaShondaLeslieSmith.com to register. We have some workshops that are already closed. You may be able to sneak in if you register tonight, because I have to pull those registrations that are closed. Each workshop, has a max capacity of 50 women. And so we have a few that have already reached that max capacity. Some people, I want to let you know that some people have registered, but they have not selected their workshops. And so if you've registered and you've not selected your workshops, please shoot an email to lls@lashondalesley-smith.com, and we will get back to you as soon as possible with a registration link. When you register, when you pay your $35, you should click Return to Merchant's website so you can go back. It will take you to another page where you can then select your workshops. I can't wait for the conference either, Shira. I am so very excited. I just can't even begin to tell y'all how God has just been downloading into me the things that I am supposed to share with all of you as we are all in the labor and delivery room on September 29th. And so that highlight reel, please stay away from that highlight reel, because I'm trying to tell y'all, life is not perfect for anybody. I had a post that I put up a couple of days ago because I felt like I had this revelation where we are all on this journey. We're all on this path where every time we get to a new level, a new season, whatever it is that you call it, but we come over a hurdle and then we're in this new season. And we experience ups and downs. There are people who challenge us, and I really want you to understand that if you have someone in your life right now who's challenging you, it could be your child, it could be your man, it could be someone on your job, it could be your boss, it could be anybody in your life. Really find the purpose in that. Because truly, if we are looking hard enough, we will find a purpose, and we will find ourselves stretched in a way where we will be able to jump over that hurdle, get to the next level, grow as individual people, be able to handle a challenge like that on the next level. And once we realize that we have sort of graduated, if you will, to the next level, we pass that test with flying colors. We do a victory dance. We're excited about it. It's like, phew, I'm done with that. You know, you finally overcome somebody on your job and you go to the next job, and then you realize that it's not the same person there, and it may not even be the exact same challenge, but there is a challenge, and now you have to do it all over again. Why? Because that's life. And it's all about our perspective. We have to change our perspective, how we're viewing those kinds of situations that we come up against. Even when it comes to our marriage, our dating situation, our siblings, even our parents, whoever it is that you are now in intense fellowship with. Whoever you are having intense fellowship with, those people are placed in your lives for a reason. And you have to be willing to walk that out. And so what I try to do, and I'm trying to tell y'all, this has been over, my 40 years of living. It has been a process. I didn't come out the womb knowing this. But I have learned that these experiences are all for my good. And I've also learned that no time is ever wasted. And we spend too much time looking in the rearview mirror and wondering, oh man, why didn't I get that right? Or, oh man, I wish I would have done that differently. Or, oh, I wish I would have taken this course in college, whatever. I wish I would have done better in that dating situation or in that previous marriage. First of all, we have to stop crying over spilled milk. Now, we have to take a time to mourn the loss of relationships. We have to take the time to mourn and get over those kinds of things. However, if we stay there, we lose the opportunity to gain ground and really begin working out whatever our purpose is in life. And so we take time, we mourn that thing, we mourn the loss of that marriage, we mourn the loss of that child, even in some situations, be it a physical death or it being some sort of death where perhaps you have a child who's struggling with drug abuse, or you have a child who is just wayward in some kind of way, and they're not really living up to the potential that you know that they have. You cannot stay stuck in that place. Our minds will cause us 100% of the time to question who we are as individuals. Did I do that right? Did I pay enough attention? Did I read to them enough? Did I Was I intimate enough? Was my intimacy good enough? All of these kinds of things. And it's not that we shouldn't be introspective. Please don't get me wrong, because it is very, very important for us to be reflective and figure out what role did we play in that situation, for a couple of reasons. Because if it was a bad thing, we don't want to do that again, right? So we want to learn from our past mistakes. And we want to grow as individuals, and we want to, we don't want to partner with the naysayers. We want to partner with our destiny. We want to be focused on our future. But at the same time, we can't stay there. We have to learn from that lesson, chalk it up as a learned lesson, and keep it moving. If we don't keep it moving, then we're going to lose ground, and we're going to not be pursuing the things that God had for us. And it's always important to be in pursuit. If we're not in pursuit, we're stagnant. Point blank, period. If you are not in pursuit of your career, I hear women all the time say things like, I don't want to be married, or, dating is too hard, or whatever. So, let me tell you something. If you don't want to be married, that is fine. More power to you. But if you do desire to be married, to be in a relationship, to have someone who loves and adores you and supports you in the way that a man should support you, then please realize that there is power in your tongue. And every single word that we speak and put forth into the atmosphere is forming our future. So we have a responsibility to guide our tongue, number one, but to guide our future by what we speak into the atmosphere. We call things forth. And if you don't believe it, just try it. And I'm only telling you things that I know based on experience, okay? If you haven't already, why don't y'all show me some love with some love buttons and share this so your friends can hear what I have to say. But I know from experience, I believe in the power of the tongue. An example of that, I used to say, and some people won't get this, and that's okay, but I would grow up hearing people say things like, oh, that bad child, or, like, it's just a kind of natural thing that we say about our children. That bad child, that child get on my nerves, or, whatever have you like that. And I remember, and this is just an example, but it is generalizable to the public. But I remember being in a Joy DeGruy workshop not too long ago. And she was talking about this sort of phenomena. And, from a spiritual perspective, I would call it the power of the tongue. She was coming from a little bit of a clinical, psychological perspective, which, I'm all for as well. But she was talking about how we would hear women, African-American women, she would say, if you take one African-American woman and she has a friend, a Caucasian woman, and they have two sons, Billy and Johnny, same age. Billy and Johnny are both performing well in school. Billy and Johnny are both socially acceptable, if you will. Billy and Johnny are just really all around well-rounded children. When you hear the Caucasian woman refer to her child, she will say those kinds of things. Billy is doing well. He's athletic. He's top of his class. He's doing this, then a third. And the African American woman will say things like, I'm not really sure whose child is Billy or Johnny, but anyway, y'all just go with me, okay? Pretend like we assigned an appropriate name to these children. So the other child, the African American child's mother, may say things like, oh, that child with his big hair, he get on my nerves sometimes. He's doing good at school, but he really need to be focused on and stay away from them girls, that kind of language. And so as she was describing this, she began to give background and history for that. She commented that oftentimes an African-American woman would make those kinds of comments about her child because if we go back to slavery, and this is why it's important to know our history, if we go back to slavery, if the master came out and said, hey, Billy is a strong, strapping young man, and he's looking really great, And this mother who belonged to this slave owner would say things like, "No, master, he is slow, he is dumb, he is ugly," and whatever else. Why do you think this woman would speak those things about her child? Because in that time frame, children who were strong, strapping, could work hard and long in the fields were liable to be sold. They were liable to be put on the auction block and taken away from their children. And so through history, over time, we have learned as African American women to speak. And the moment I feel like I'm getting emotional just talking about this, because the moment that I heard that, I could remember times when I would very unawarely, and that's not a word I know, okay, but I would be unaware that I would speak those kinds of things over the life of my seed. And it was just something that I would hear, from my family. And we have a tendency to repeat those patterns in our family. And I really, really, really want to break that cycle in us. And so I'm talking right now about an example for African American women, but we all have those kinds of examples. If we took the time to look at our lineage, if we took the time to look at the patterns in our family, we will find that we have picked up some really good things from our parents, and we will find that we've picked up some very poor things. And so it's our responsibility to begin examining those things and understanding where we are repeating those patterns and be intentional. Okay, I cannot say that enough. We have to be intentional about the things that we speak over our seeds. We have to be intentional about how we shape our future with our words. And if we are not intentional about it, we are careless. We are carelessly allowing our future to just proceed without giving it one other thought. And I submit to you today, ladies, that is not okay. And so anything that we see formed in the future that we are not liking, we need to understand that we either helped to shape that or we did not help to shape it. And we are equally responsible. And so I want to talk a little bit about those kinds of things at the Epic Women's Conference. And I know many of those speakers will be talking about very similar things about us as women and our responsibility to help shape. And yes, when you know better, you can do better. But some of us know better and we're still not doing better. And that is the problem that I have. And research shows that knowledge does not necessarily change behavior. And so I'm hoping that more than just giving you knowledge at the Epic Women's Conference, that you will have a spiritual experience, an encounter with yourself and with God that will cause you to be so inclined to change the way you dialogue about yourself, about your marriage, your current marriage, your future marriage, your current relationship, your children, your finances. Oh, it drives me crazy to hear people say, "I'm broke." Because our tongue has the power of life and death in it. It is sharp, it will cut, it will build up, and it will tear down. And we can use it to tear down the things that are not good for us, the things that are negative, or we can use it to tear down the things that are good for us. And sometimes we do it unintentionally. We do it unintentionally. But at the Epic Women's Conference, we're going to be very, very intentional about what it is that we're doing with our words, in our relationships, our romantic relationships, our homegirl relationships, our familial relationships, our families. It's so very important that we steward what God has placed in front of us. Y'all, remember that word. We have the responsibility to steward our marriages, steward our children, steward our families, and steward ourselves. And let me tell you, ladies, too many of us are spending a whole lot of time stewarding all of those things that I just mentioned and not stewarding ourselves. And so I have, when people, say, oh, you seem happy and blah, blah, blah. I have balance. And I'm going to teach y'all how to get some. Because there are times when it's just me and my husband. And I'm going to tell y'all, when we didn't have no money, okay? Because there was a time when we didn't have no money, all right? And we worked hard, and we got to a place where we were able to, take a vacation every once in a while. We learned to just create free trips. And they weren't really trips because we were just like going around the corner. But we would go and sit in a hotel and kind of pretend and daydream and begin to steward our future by speaking, because we knew at another point in the future, we would not just be having a date night in this hotel lobby. We would be going to this hotel to have an overnight trip. And so that's what I mean about stewarding and speaking life and into the atmosphere, speaking into the atmosphere. And then the same with my children, having that one-on-one time with my children. I have 2 children. Thankfully, I don't have 12. Like Tamara Marcella, bless her. She gave birth 10 times, y'all. Ooh, Jesus, the Lord will never put more on you than you can bear. Okay. Because he knew I ain't want nobody's 12 children. But bless her heart, because, she did that, and that woman looked good. But anyways, I digress. I only have 2, so I have the opportunity, and I'm aware that there are many women who have a lot more children than me, and so this is a little bit easier for me to talk about from this perspective than it may be you. But if you can, even if you got that many children, take them out in groups, whatever age group there are, and spend time with them. Create a situation and enough balance in your life where you can spend enough time with that individual child, if at all possible, and get to know them so they get to know you. Because if you've had one child, you have had one child. They are not the same. You cannot parent them the same. They are very different. They have very different needs. One child will test you in one way that another will not. And we need to be aware of that. Similarly, so I have some time, set aside time with my husband. I have set aside time with my children. We have family time together, and I have time with my friends because they build me up. I pour into them, they pour into me. We do mutually beneficial sort of pouring, if you will, and activities, and that's how I find balance. And I would say the fourth part of me, the fourth part of me is my career. So I'm ambitious. I go after the things that I want, and I have balance in all of that. And the most important part of me, and why you will see me on Facebook happy and saying, oh, wow, she looked like she's happy, because I am, is my relationship with Christ, point blank and the period. And so because that is an important thing to me, and I get up in the morning and I spend that coveted time with God, I have the opportunity to meditate on my word, to spend time with him, to pray, and to just kind of cast my cares, but to cast my cares on the Lord, because I know that is important, because we carry around too many weights, ladies. We carry around too many weights. I thank you, Shira, for commenting on my live, sister. I thank y'all. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you, Mai. How you doing, girl? I miss you. So we gotta talk about this highlight reel, and we need to, and as I've said before, not compare our backstage to someone else's front stage, because we will lose ourselves in that process, and you will spend many nights in the bed with the covers pulled over your head, comparing yourself to somebody else's issue. And I think it was Tamara who said it really great too. She said, we're trying to run the race with somebody else. They're running really fast. We're running slow, medium, whatever have you. Hey, Amanda. I'd love to pull you on, Amanda, if you want to chat with us and talk to us a little bit about your conference. If you have some time, just request to come on. Would love to have you talk a little bit about it. I miss you too, Mai. So yeah, she was talking about how sometimes you could be on the race, you're running the race with somebody else, And because you're trying to keep up with them, you're running so fast, you're running. Oh, she said she got her rollers in. I'm always telling y'all what people are commenting as if you can't read it. Duh. Y'all know I'm not good with no lives. This is new for me. But so yeah, you're running this race with somebody else, and then you hop in at the time when they're already full speed ahead, and you're trying to keep up with them, but you out of breath. You can't run that fast. You're not conditioned. You're not in the gym. You ain't drinking enough water. I don't know what it is, but it's a whole lot of different things, okay? And stop trying to run the race with them. It's okay if you're a few paces behind somebody else. That is okay, because you will get there in the timing in which you're supposed to get there. We try to run too fast, and then when we arrive at our destination, we wonder why we're not prepared, y'all. We're not prepared because we didn't take the time to condition ourselves. It's the same if we're starting a business and we're spending way too much money on whatever that business is, because we haven't conditioned ourselves. We haven't disciplined ourselves. We haven't beat our flesh to the point where we can handle whatever that thing is. And so that's very important. Register for the Epic Women's Conference. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Register for the Epic Women's Conference at LaShondaLeslieSmith.com. Tickets are a very small investment, which is another thing that we don't do well. We do not invest in ourselves. We complain about the cost of conference fees. We complain about the cost to travel. I will always invest in myself, because I am no good to nobody else unless I am willing to take care of me. So let's talk about that. On September 29th at the Epic Women's Conference, it is just like a week and a half away. Oh my God. It's like a week and a half away. What am I going to do? So I'm excited. I'm sure my neighbors are like, what does she have going on? Because I have boxes after boxes being delivered. They are, I'm sure, talking about me. But we want to make sure that it is an exceptional conference and that you all have the opportunity to feel like you have invested so much more than what you actually have in yourself, but it's worth every single penny and so much more. And I think I told many of you that we are doing the Epic Women's Retreat next year. So I'm excited about that. The Epic Women's Conference will take place every other year, and the Epic Women's Retreat will also take place every other year. So in July 11th through the 14th, I believe it is, we are going to be going to Jamaica for the Epic Women's Retreat. And there is a max capacity of 30 women for that retreat. The prices and everything will drop really soon, and you will have the opportunity to sign up for extra classes if you choose to. It will be a 4-day all-inclusive retreat, which I'm so excited about. Very affordable, all-inclusive, including your airfare. And so we'll have information about that. Your deposit will be somewhere around $250. So save your coins in this next week and a half, because once those slots are gone, There will be no expansion of that. That's the max capacity for Negril, Jamaica. And I'm excited about it. I've never been to Jamaica before. Y'all been to Jamaica before? I'm excited about it. And I'm excited to be able to pour into you all when we can look out the window and see the sea and the sand and the sun. I am excited, y'all. Hey, Joanne. It is going to be amazing. It's a 4-day conference. So we'll have you fly in on day 1. We'll have an evening session on day 1. And then you'll get to sign up for exclusive workshops on the day 2, and then day 3 and 4 is really just straight excursions and opportunity for you to just enjoy Jamaica at this all-inclusive, gorgeous resort. This is, and I get to travel a lot. I'm very blessed. And my husband and I have stayed at a lot of different resorts, and this one is beautiful, and it has amazing. It's 5 stars. It's amazing, and you guys will love it. So you will get the opportunity to put your deposit down on September 29th at the Epic Women's Conference. So bring your checkbook. We also will have lots of different vendors that will be at the Epic Women's Conference. We have folks that are selling all kinds of products. We'll be doing an amazing raffle, and one raffle that will cost you a few little dollars, and then another raffle that is free just because you signed up to be at the Epic Women's Conference. It's going to be awesome, y'all. And I'm very excited because I stepped out on faith. And y'all know already, because I've said it a million times, this has been not so much a hard thing, because it's not like it's the first conference that I've done. It obviously is the largest conference that I've done under my name as the conference host and visionary. Yes, that's what I'm called. Conference host and visionary. I have done 600 person conferences for work and things that I do. And I'm a social worker by trade. I run a small nonprofit, and I essentially help to shape communities and also fundraise. So I ask people for money, which for some is very hard. For me is easy, because I feel like I'm not asking for myself. And I think that is a piece of what we want to give you at the Epic Women's Conference on September 29th at the Hilton Garden Inn here in Rochester, New York. It's the Hilton Garden Inn in College Town. That sometimes we have to learn that when we're going after a thing, it's not always about us. When I'm asking people for money for my organization, I realize that I'm asking for the mission of the organization. I'm not asking you to write a check to LaShonda Leslie Smith. I promise you, those checks do not come to me. That would be nice, but they do not come to me. But I realize that there's something greater than me out there in the world that I'm responsible for nurturing. I'm responsible for nurturing the mission of Connected Communities, the organization that I work for. And if you want to look it up, it's Connected Communities ROC.org. And you can feel free to make a donation there if you should like to, if you are so moved to do so. But I realize that I have a responsibility, and I feel like it's very, 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 very similar to the vision that God has given us to birth. It is not just for us. So when you're talking about you scared and you don't want to do it, when God gives you a vision, please spare me, okay? And I'm talking real tough right now, y'all. And y'all know it took me 4 years to launch this conference, but I digress. But now that I have sort of jumped, I've taken the big leap. Now I can say to you guys, spare me. Don't waste any time. Don't waste as much time as I did. Learn from my mistakes and keep it pushing. You have more people who are depending on you than you ever will know. A while ago, I had a prophetic word that there were women who were assigned to me in this earth, and that those women had my name written on them. That's a weighty word, and it feels like a huge responsibility. But when I realized that it's not LaShonda alone, that it really is God who, first of all, has given me the gifts that he's given me to do anything. And I place that responsibility on him, because it's his reputation that's on the line. And by the way, I have yet to see him fail me or anybody else. Then it's easier to take that step forward. And when we say yes, there's something about saying yes where the resources just begin to manifest themselves, and then we can do what it is that God has called us to do. And so I just encourage you, whatever it is. I know that there are some of you who are watching, even though there's a very small number of you. I keep saying that because I'm new and I want 500 viewers like some of the people that I follow. But in due time, in due season, if there is something that God has placed in you, and I know there are women here that God has said, you need to do this. You need to start that business. You need to launch that webinar or whatever. Hey, Pastor. You need to do that thing. I really encourage you to do that, because there is such a freedom in yes. There is a freedom in saying yes to whatever it is that God has called you to do. And when you say yes, the resources will manifest themselves and you will be able to see the vision clearer. Oftentimes when I am called to do a thing, when I'm told, to go in this area, I don't always know what the end result is going to be. Or sometimes as a visionary, I can see the beginning and I can see the end, but I can't really see the middle. And I'm the kind of person that would ask how. I would ask how, why me? I ask a lot of questions of God, and I'm sure he just rolled his eyes at his daughter, but that's okay because he's patient with me, and I'm sure he will be patient with you. And so if you just continue to move in that thing and trust him through it, you will begin to see the manifestation in your life. I promise you. And if you don't, come see me and say, LaShonda, you're a liar, but I guarantee you won't, because once we go forth and we do that thing, it becomes more clear. And we all know that hindsight is 20/20. The rear view mirror is much clearer than the windshield. Oftentimes the windshield is like it's on a cloudy day and there's a lot of fog outside. It's raining, it's snowing, whatever it is that clogs your vision. But don't allow it. Use those wipers, use those windshield wipers, and try to get a picture into what God has called you into. And so on September 29th at the Epic Women's Conference, we are going to give birth together into the season that God is launching us into in this new year. This new year that we're in, and it's not too late. There are still many, many months in 2018 for you to do whatever God has told you to do. So stop delaying and do it now. And when you do it, please come and see me at the Epic Women's Conference and tell me, LaShonda, this is what I did. That you had that live on, what's today? September 18th at 9:30, and you said that I needed to step out on faith and I needed to do that thing. I needed to put the down payment on that storefront to start that business, or I needed to just get a website, just go buy a web address. If that is your first step into wherever it is that God is calling you to, do something. Just do something, because it is your faith that will help to get you to the next level. And so I thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you, Pastor. I thank you guys for listening to me. It is late, and I have a whole lot of stuff to do for y'all so that when y'all come, everything will be ready. And y'all see like this unibrow that I have. You know you working hard when you ain't got time to get your eyebrows threaded. But they're gonna be right when I come to the conference. Oh, I'm gonna be snatched, y'all. So I'm gonna need y'all to be snatched too, okay? But comfortable. Don't come, it's the church convention, okay? Come relaxed and prepared to really engage with women, network with women, love on a woman who you don't even know, okay? Because I want you to lock arms with sisters. I want you guys to exchange numbers. If you have business cards, bring your business cards. Talk about the ideal that you have. You never know what partnership, what divine connection you might be able to make at this conference. Somebody who has a desire to start a business just like you, and the two of you guys together will be equally yoked and will be able to do the doggone thing and go faster and longer and harder than you can on your own. There is strength in the community. There is strength in partnership. There is strength in relationship. We women have tried to do it on our own for way too long. Okay, you receive it, Joanne? I hope you're going to be at the conference so that you can talk to me about what you received tonight on this feed. All right, you guys, you have a good evening. I love you guys, and I will see you on September 29th. What day? September 29th. Registration is from 8 to 9. Don't y'all show up at 9:30. Please be on time for this conference, okay? Because we're going to be ready for y'all. We're not going to be setting up when y'all getting there for registration. We will be ready for you. Be ready for us and come prepared to receive, because I know God has something special for you. All right, be blessed. Have a good night.